Hey everyone, welcome to People Now. It's good to see you. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd. Today has become known as Blackout Tuesday around the world. It started in the music industry, it spread to the fashion and beauty industries, and if you've been paying attention at all, it's become huge on social media as well.
Yes, it definitely has. So to stand with Black Lives Matter on the hashtag, the show must be paused, we will not be airing our usual People Now today. Instead, we're going to be covering everything that's going on right now to keep you up to date and share some ways that you can help out later on in the show.
So first, what is today all about? Well, Blackout Tuesday started as a movement of solidarity in the music industry, and it has turned into a nationwide pause to bring attention to police brutality and racial injustice in the United States. So a statement circulating social media about the initiative, it says this: it's an urgent step of action to provoke accountability and change.
Two Atlantic Records music executives created the movement under the hashtag, the show must be paused. They explain that it is a day to take a beat for an honest, reflective, and productive conversation about what actions we need to collectively take to support the Black community.
Among the outlets and labels committed to observing the blackout are Def Jam Records, Island Records, Warner Music Group, Capitol Records, Sony Music, and many more, each with their own plans for honoring the day.
Of course, the movement has quickly garnered steam and has expanded past the music industry. Rihanna's Fenty Beauty announced on Tuesday that it will be taking part in the initiative and will be shutting its business down globally for the day. Part of Fenty's statement reads, "This is not a day off. This is a day to reflect and find ways to make real change. This is a day to pull up."
Yeah, Rihanna posted on her personal Instagram as well. She wrote basically, "We ain't buying bleep and we ain't selling bleep neither."
Many stars have joined the movement on Instagram, posting black squares with the hashtag Blackout Tuesday, including Katy Perry, Kerry Washington, Lupita Nyong'o, Timothy Chalamet, Michael B. Jordan, Bryan Cranston, among many, many more. I don't know about you, Jeremy, but when I woke up and checked Instagram, it was entirely black squares. So it made me really proud to see that my friends are also participating.
Yeah, it really is something when you know it's a broad movement when you just scroll and scroll and scroll and it's all black squares. Really impressive thing. If you want to get involved, you can do it, and you can even find out more about what's going on. Check out theshowmustbepause.com for more information and resources. And kind of an important note, they're trying to make sure people hashtag Blackout Tuesday, not Black Lives Matter. So vital information about the Black Lives Matter movement isn't overshadowed or kind of hidden today. So check it all out.
Lizzo is opening up about her feelings on the protests and the death of George Floyd. In a video shared to her Instagram on Sunday, the singer broke down into tears as she discussed racism and how the protests have escalated.
In the video, she says the real story is not being told fully. Lizzo, who moved to Minneapolis nearly 10 years ago and now calls it home, adds that according to the city's residents, quote, majority of the violence that's happening in that city is coming from the KKK and a heavily militarized police. Tears began to fall as she continued to speak about the community in her city. Watch.
I've seen Minneapolis rise up and do incredible things. And this isn't the first time. I've seen Minneapolis show love and support. I've seen the community, I've seen the Black community, the indigenous people there, the LGBTQIA community. And there are beautiful people. They didn't ask for any of this.
Lizzo went on to emotionally say, "It's never Black people, it's always white people using the term race war." She added in part, "It's not that hard to see. The people that don't see it don't want to see it. I don't have sympathy for people who don't see it anymore. Black people are tired." That was her quote.
On a more positive note, Lizzo did reveal she has hope for the future and still believes in the good of people. But she adds, until we start treating each life equally and respecting each life equally, we gotta say Black Lives Matter.
Earlier in the day, Lizzo had another message for her followers saying this: "Protest is not the end of progress, it is the beginning."
Protests calling for justice for George Floyd and against police brutality continue across the country. According to CNN, at least 40 cities have enforced nighttime curfews, and more than a dozen states have deployed the National Guard as some places continue to see violence. In Las Vegas, Police Chief Joe Lombardo announced at a news conference that an officer was in grave condition after being shot on the Vegas Strip. And in a separate shooting, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police said in a statement that a heavily armed individual was shot upon after making a threatening move. That individual was later pronounced dead. The police chief called the shootings unacceptable and revealed on Tuesday morning that the officer was on life support.
And according to the Des Moines Register, Davenport Mayor Mike Mattson vowed justice Monday after two people were killed in protests. Mattson also revealed that throughout Sunday night, first responders answered 20 shooting calls and responded to reports of 3 suspicious fires.
And in Richmond, Virginia, the Associated Press reports that police fired tear gas at protesters to disperse them before curfew set in.
AP also reports that in New York City, a curfew on Monday night was not enough to stop widespread looting. There were clashes with police and multiple arrests.
And on Monday in Minneapolis, George Floyd's brother visited the memorial site where Floyd was killed. In the video, you can see an emotional Terrence Floyd walking to the spot where his brother died. He then collapses into friends' arms as he tries to take a knee.
According to CNN, he addressed the large crowd gathered there and asked for a peaceful protest, saying violence would not bring his brother back. All right, coming up, the latest updates in the George Floyd case, plus some ways you can help get involved.
Anderson Cooper called out President Trump on his show Monday night after police in riot gear unleashed force upon peaceful protesters in Washington, D.C. before the president's photo op. Take a look at Cooper's reaction.
We are in trouble. This country is being led by a man.
He wanted to be seen outside the gates.
Of course he did. He was taken to a bunker, and he's hiding in a bunker, and he is embarrassed that people know that. So what does he have to do? He has to sick police on peaceful protesters so he can make a big show of being, the little big man.
The president is now facing criticism after being photographed holding up a Bible for that photo in front of St. John's Episcopal Church. Cooper added that the president, quote, always talks about the world laughing, that the world are laughing at the governors right now. He continued, they're not laughing at the governors, they're standing in horror over what is happening. The only people that the world is laughing at is the president of the United States. At one point, Cooper even described the scene as, quote, dangerous and disgusting. This is all referencing how police officers wearing riot gear cleared peaceful demonstrators gathered to protect the death of George Floyd by shooting tear gas and flash grenades near the church, which is outside the White House. Minutes later, President Trump walked over to the church and posed for photos in front of it holding a Bible.
Trump was joined by his daughter Ivanka, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and others. And during that photo shoot, Trump told reporters that the U.S. was the, quote, greatest country in the world and vowed, quote, we're going to keep it that way.
Many were also quick to point out on Twitter that the Bible was seemingly held upside down in some photos. The rector at St. John's, Reverend Robert Fisher, told CNN later on Monday that they had no warning of Trump's arrival and called it kind of shocking.
And now we bring it back to George Floyd. We acknowledge that he is obviously one of many black men, women, and children to die in this country over the years. His killing just over 1 week ago was not the first. Now, though, his death has been ruled a homicide in the latest medical examiner report released on Monday afternoon. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner states that Floyd died from, quote, cardiopulmonary arrest, complicating law enforcement subdual, restraint, and neck compression. The report also states that Floyd, quote, experienced a cardiopulmonary arrest while being restrained by law enforcement officers. Other significant conditions found showed heart disease and recent methamphetamine use.
A preliminary autopsy by the county medical examiner concluded that there were no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxia or strangulation. That report stated that Floyd died from the, quote, combined effects of being restrained by the police, his underlying health conditions, and any potential intoxicants in his system.
During a press conference earlier on Monday, Floyd's family attorney, Benjamin Crump, said that an independent autopsy concluded that Floyd had died of asphyxiation due to neck and back compression from being subdued by more than one officer.
Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who is seen on video pinning Floyd to the ground with his knee, has been charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. The murder charge carries a maximum prison sentence of 25 years. Chauvin and the 3 other officers present at the scene have all been fired from the Minneapolis PD. Floyd's family is seeking a first-degree murder charge against Chauvin and have called for charges to be brought against the other 3 officers.
And in case you missed it, the Minneapolis police chief told CNN on Sunday that in his mind, all 4 of the officers bear the same responsibility. Take a listen.
Silence and inaction, you're complicit. You're complicit. If there were one solitary voice that would have intervened and act, that's what I would have hoped for.
So it's very easy to feel helpless right now with everything going on, but there are some real things that we can do to show our support for Black Lives Matter and help with actual change. So starting with this, donate to any number of national organizations working overtime right now. We're showing some great options here on your screen.
If you can't donate, that's okay too. You can, of course, sign petitions, call local lawmakers to demand change. And if helping closer to home is more your speed, you can get out there and protest. You can research community groups in your area that provide assistance to protesters or advocate for police reform. Of course, supporting victims and their families, always a great idea.
Yeah, you can also use this time to learn about race, racism, and white privilege in America. Books are a great place to start. Iconic authors like James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, and Maya Angelou are famous for sharing their personal experiences with race in their works. Other top titles right now include Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, and Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
And finally, guys, let's just remember the heart behind all of this is to fight against injustice, to stand together against racism wherever it's found.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. We hope that you're inspired to do something to make the world a better place today.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.